Shiles against Ross Merriam. If I were a betting man, I would have bet quite a bit of money that Ross Merriam was going to go back-to-back, give me that matchup. So
Yeah, elves versus Death and Taxes. So
yeah.
anything can happen, though. You like that variance. If it wasn't for variance,
The game would be boring.
anyone could win.
Yeah, the game would be boring.
It's great.
Lloyd
so Lloyd's got that turn one ancestral visions.
Yeah, he's also got a him over there. You can't play him on turn number 2 because he's led with the Tropical Island. But not a bad start here. That'll generate some cards. Could fire off a him. Maybe take the right cards or, hit the right cards at random. Dustin also has a him in his hand. So players are going to be out of cards pretty quickly, I think. Dustin going to sacrifice Bloodstained Margot on 19. We'll see what land he searches for.
Yeah, this certainly seems like one of those matchups where basically both players have like 3 lands in play and no cards in hand. We'll see how it plays out. Is this going to be a turn 1 Thoughtseize?
Yeah, I think so.
Thoughtseize probably takes the him, I want to say.
It's interesting because he can't cast him on turn 2. So do you still want to take it? I mean, it does play a pretty big role in this matchup, and there is Thoughtseize, so Kurth can lay out his hand. He's got an Abrupt Decay, a him, a Liliana, a Jason, a land.
Yeah, let's see what, not sure what Dustin has in his hand. If it's an Abrupt Decay, probably doesn't care that much about, yeah, it looks like he has Punishing Fire, Abrupt Decay, and yeah, so I don't think he cares that much about the Planeswalkers as much as he does about losing the cards to him to Torah.
That hand's just, I mean, you talk about removal.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually going to take Jace. A little scared of the best Planeswalker of all time. It's understandable.
And I don't know, because he has a him to Torque of his own, I think, I kind of like just taking the opponent's him and then maybe stranding that Jace in Lloyd's hand if you hit a land with him to Torque,
Lloyd going to take down that Vision, draw a Tropical Island, play a Verdant Catacombs, pass the turn back. Dustin going to play a Wooded Foothills. See if he's going to fire for turn 2 him here. It looks like the answer is going to be yes. He's going to sacrifice that Wooded Foothills, go searching through the deck. Can't search for a basic swamp, of course, because it's a foothills, so we'll see what land he does want to find.
Probably Badlands, just so you can cast Lightning Bolt, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there is a Badlands.
Yeah, the problem for Dustin is that Lloyd's going to eventually draw 3 cards off that Ancestral Visions. Can't really stop that.
Let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, so ideally he wants to hit him to Torque and Liliana the Veil.
Yeah.
Abrupt Decay doesn't care that much about that.
Here we go. That one goes. And that one goes. Trop, Lily.
All right, you got one of them and you got a land, so not bad.
Down to 2 goes the Vision. Draw a card. Verdant Catacombs. That was real important. Now we can fire off a him. Get right back after Dustin.
Yeah, so even though Dustin did most of the action this game, you got to like Lloyd's position right now. He gets to cast him of his own, plus he's going to have Visions firing off in a couple of turns.
Big, big deal. So there is the him. Abrupt Decay is the last card here in Kurth's hand. So here we go. 6 will probably be a reroll. There that goes. And he's really good at going first because he rolls 6s and 5s.
And
did he play first all tournament? All right, there that goes. Abrupt Decay and a Grove of the Burn Willows.
So I believe there's a Lightning Bolt, Punishing Fire, and another Grove.
Yeah. Time to draw. It's a Badlands. There's the Grove. So Vision's going to go down to 1. Kurth will draw a card. It is a copy of Toxic Deluge. All I can do is pass the turn back. Dustin going to draw. Gonna play Badlands, pass the turn back. Visions is gonna resolve.
Here we go.
This is the card I think is probably the most important one for Lloyd in the matchup. Is Ancestral Visions. 3, 4. Thoughtseize and a bunch of lands was the draws.
He's got 1 Wasteland at least, so he can get rid of the Grove of the Burn Willows.
That's important. Here is Thoughtseize. See the hand now, there's Diabolic Edict, there's the Bolt, there's the Punishing Fire.
I'm surprised he didn't just Bolt in response.
Yeah?
I guess, yeah, at least you take the Diabolic. He probably takes Diabolic Edict there.
I don't love the Bolt in response there. I think you can hold steady.
Let's see here. I think you take the Diabolic. I think you take the Bolt. That's the thing. Yeah. So you leave him with the Diabolic Edict, and Wasteland is going to take out Grow the Burn Willows. And I think you could get at least 2 damage in here, right? In response, he casts Punishing Fire, and then you get it back.
Yeah.
So he gets 1 damage in.
A little ting. Now it's Dustin the one that's basically out of cards now.
Yeah, more importantly, he keeps Dustin off green.
Mm-hmm. Dark Confidant. Well, we know that's going to die. Lloyd can just look at that abrupt decay, get that off the table. So, Lloyd will draw.
Oof.
Another Visions. Hey, that's where we
Alright.
got to go.
Not bad. Grind him out.
Play a land, perhaps. Yep, it'll be a Verdant. Kick it back. Dustin. Didn't get a great look at it. Maybe another Dark Confidant. That's actually
All right.
that's okay because Kurth has a copy of Toxic Deluge in his hand and he has cast for 1, so it's not that big of a deal. You have to get it off the table, so.
Yeah, Deluge isn't going to get that much better. You're not going to get that much more value out of it.
Seems like the person who draws Tarmogoyf is really in the driver's seat.
Yeah, if you can get Tarmogoyf, Liliana, there's a lot of cards you can draw.
Deathrite Shaman is just okay. Nothing special there, but it does provide green mana if necessary. So there is the 1-2. Back to Lloyd we go. Take on that down to 2. Kurth draws. Brainstorm's not bad. This is actually why I kind of like... And I still think the matchup is bad for Kurth, but I think he actually has a shot because, well, he has card drawing and Dustin doesn't. Outside of Deathrite Shaman, or excuse me, outside of Dark Confidant. Put 2 cards back, or you can of course hack the fetch land and make it perfect.
Yeah, spin the wheel there with the Deathrite, the Shardless Agent.
Yeah. After you crack the fetch, there it is.
Get to hold on to that Brainstorm. Use that a little later on.
See what Landlord wants to search up here. It's odd, actually. You know, when we were here about this time last year, Charlotte's Bug was really running rampant, and then this tournament was actually won by Imperial Painter in the hand of Jonathan Suarez. Suarez barely making it in as the 8th seed and was able to win the tournament. And Blood Moons actually ran rampant to keep decks like Shardless Bug, Jund, and Esper Deathblade in check about a year ago this time. Here's a Brainstorm.
Yeah, I'm surprised he'd lead with a Brainstorm there and instead of just casting Shardless Agent first and just trying to hit something good.
I think the reason he did that is in case he draws an Ancestral Vision, so he can actually set up so that he hits. I actually think that's the only reason. I'm not even sure if that's correct,
Yeah, but there's only 2 left in your deck.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like just having Brainstorm as like, you know, get a little more value out of it later on. Because again, because there's a Deathrite Shaman in play, anything you hit's going to be pretty good. I mean, if you hit Tarmogoyf, it's going to be good. If you hit Abrupt Decay, it's still fine. So now Dustin has to... so we're going to see a Baleful Strix.
Is cool.
Not a bad draw.
What's this going to be? That's a Tarmogoyf, so... Kurth is doing pretty good. Forcible and Tarmogoyf, and Vision starting to tick down. Dustin does have removal spells in his hand. He's got got a Punishing Fire and Diabolic Eater. So let's draw a card here. It's a Wooded Foothills. That's not going to help very much.
Yeah, so Dustin can just pass here. Visions ticks down yet again. Lloyd draws an Abrupt Decay, so he has an answer to that Deathrite Shaman. Yep, Punishing Fire takes out Shardless Agent, and Dustin's going to take 1. Now, Tarmogoyf's going to come down here, and Dustin just has a Diabolic Edict. Unfortunately, Lloyd does have a Baleful Strix that he can sacrifice to it. Now, if you're Lloyd, I think you just Abrupt Decay here.
Yeah, just get it off.
Yeah, just get it off. You already saw 2 Dark Confidants. Tarmogoyf is obviously a card that you have to be concerned with, but I think Deathrite Shaman is good enough that you take care of it.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do.
Plus, you're going to draw 3 cards next turn.
Sure. That's Tarmogoyf is large and in charge.
Yeah, so Dustin's going to sack Wooded Foothills. He can get a Bayou now to get some green mana. Maybe he gets a basic Forest.
Play around Wasteland a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't really have a lot of time because Tarmogoyf is a 6/7, so maybe it's okay to search for non-basic.
Yeah, Lloyd in pretty good shape here, all because of that turn 1 Ancestral Visions.
That's a card I thought was going to play a pretty big role in the matchup. Again, I still think that Dustin is in a pretty good shape as far as matchup is concerned, even though it looks like he may be moving towards being down a game here in just a moment.
Yeah, Lloyd basically was able to outdraw Dustin, despite Dustin really putting a lot of pressure on Lloyd's hand early on. Yeah, basically Lloyd's threatening lethal in 2 turns here.
And he's going to draw 3 cards right now, so 2, 3. Let's not forget one for the draw coming too. There's a Charlotte's Angel and a Brainstorm. Looked like it was another spell. Draw this card. That's a Tarmogoyf.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Second Tarmogoyf. That probably does it. He also has Force of Will backup. I believe he has a Charlotte's Agent to pitch to along with a Brainstorm. So
He's going to cast the Agent right now, so he's going to go digging. Take a look here. There are a couple misses here in Abrupt Decay. Baleful Strix isn't so bad, so that's going to come in. He's going to shuffle up those cards from Cascade. Put those to the bottom of the deck. And that's where those will go. Trigger, draw, Polluted Delta, Goyf, ship.
all right. And I have Force of Will to protect myself from any shenanigans.
Yeah. Dustin will draw a card, linking that attack for us. He's going to pick up those lands. Lloyd Kurth going to win game number 1 here over Dustin Shiles. Charlotte's Bug up a game over Punishing Jun as we're going to bring it back to the booth here for the last trivia question of the day. It's pretty easy. Hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live. You guys know the drill. 12 months. You guys probably already know the question. Open Series next weekend. Where's it going to be? Patrick Sullivan, Matthias Hunt are going to be doing the coverage. There's a really good barbecue there. Also, the local baseball team will be losing to the Cleveland Indians that weekend. So, if we know where the Open Series coverage will be next weekend and where the Open Series will be stopping, name that city, hashtag the answer, hashtag SCG Premium. We will announce the winner at the conclusion of our quarter-final round, which is not even close to true. It's actually the finals. I'm just tired. We need to cut back to the match because that was embarrassing.
All right.
Keep it together. We can do this. One more match. We can do this.
Well, looking at the sideboards here, we got some interesting options here for both players.
Dustin's got a Cage, a Revoker, 2 copies of Engineer in play, 2 Ancient Grudge, a Very Charm, a Pyroblast, 2 Circular Extraction, Umazawa Shite, 3 copies of Duress, and a Maelstrom Pulse. Paul seems like it's going to be pretty good. I don't think we need Duress in this matchup. I think that's more for combo. I do like the random Miser's GT in the board quite a bit, actually. The Golgari Charm does not seem very good in this matchup, nor does E-Plague, because Kurth does not have True Name Nemesis. The rest is just kind of whatever. So I actually don't think Dustin has a lot of cards to bring in here, oddly enough. Pyroblast, I think you actually make a pretty solid argument for, because countering Ancestral Visions seems to be really important. You know?
Countering Ancestral Visions, so I think Pyroblast definitely comes in. And even if you hit it with a Bloodbraid Elf, you can randomly go after like a Baleful Strix or a Shardless Agent, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, just being able to stop an Ancestral Visions, given how devastating it was for him game 1, I think he's bringing that card in, along with the Maelstrom Pulse, obviously. Beyond that, obviously the Miser Jite is pretty solid. Maybe you bring in the Ancient Grudges just because you can take out Baleful Strix and Shardless Agents. Maybe bring in 1 or 2 copies there. Beyond that, though, really nothing else that jumps out at me. On Lloyd's side, though, he's got Liliana the Veil, 2 Hymn to Thorax, a Thoughtseize. I like those 4 cards in this matchup.
I like this figure quite a bit, Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah,
and
Disfigure, being able to go turn, especially if you're on the draw.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Deathrite Shaman and Dark Confine kills both of those creatures. Other stuff in Dustin's deck that he can kill.
I like the Nil
Bloodbraid Elf,
Spellbomb.
too.
Nil Spellbomb as well.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a cantrip, which is obviously pretty useful in this type of grindy matchup, but it also can get rid of Punishing Fires. So I like that card a lot as well. So yeah, again, Lloyd has some pretty good options. I think he has better options after board than Dustin does, but Dustin could still get some really good draws. He has a lot of removal spells, and he also has, Bloodbraid Elf, which is pretty effective at like getting into some removal as well as putting pressure on Lloyd. Legacy is one of those weird formats where all the spells are really powerful, but sometimes you just end up winning with like 1/1 flyers or like a random creature here and there, or just draining with Deathrite Shaman. It's such a random format in that regard. Sometimes it's giant spaghetti monsters flying in the air. Sometimes it's just a 1/2 creature.
That's why I love it. That's honestly why I love it. I actually have some breaking news.
All right.
I know it's going to be a real shock to you. Malerapod won another tournament. Wow. What a surprise.
Interesting. Interesting.
Malerapod wins our first Modern Premier IQ here on the Open Series. Congratulations to James Pogue for getting the job done with Malerapod.
Birthing Bud's a pretty good card.
Yeah, just a touch. Just a touch. Don't know how much longer it's going to be around, but while it's around, you should probably play it. That's probably what should happen. I like a lot of decks.
Says the man playing Tron
Yeah,
next weekend.
you're correct, because I want to go have fun and carn some people. But if I were playing a PTQ season, much like when I was younger,
But you can play in PTQs this season. Would you
I
play
can
Pod?
play
Are you going to play Pod or Tron?
no, I can't play. I could play in a PTQ this
Yeah.
season, which would be next weekend, but
And
I'm going to the GP instead.
oh.
That would be my one shot.
Would you have played Tron or Pod?
I would play Tron because like I haven't tested with Pod. But if it was like I wasn't doing this job and I was playing on the Pro Tour again and playing in PTQs and it was like, all right, I have to go play PTQ season. I need to learn a deck. I would just play Pod until I qualified. It's the
Okay.
best deck. Who are we kidding? I think Affinity is like a really good deck, and Kiki Pod's a really good deck. Malera Pod's the best deck.
Birthing Pod's probably the most powerful card in Modern. I will give you that. But in our area, we see Kiki Pod win a lot too.
Sure, I mean
It's Birthing Pod.
Play a Pod deck then. I mean, Kiki Pod is the high variance version of that deck in my opinion, but I mean it's also very good. It did win the gigantic Grand Prix in Richmond. Brian Liu won that one with Kiki Pod. So, I mean I don't think that deck is bad. I just think that the actual Malera Pod is the best deck.
Yeah.
The best version.
I play Birthing Pod in my Affinity deck, just so I can sacrifice Signal Pest to get Arcbound Ravager.
That's so good.
And then I sacrifice my Ravager to get Master of Ethereum.
Yeah.
And put a modular token on the creature. Whew. No, I'm kidding. Whew.
Cracked it.
Arguably the worst idea. ideas.
You busted it open. Also, Birthing Pod is an artifact, so it provides affinity.
Yeah.
That's good. You can actually sacrifice it to Ravager. You broke it.
Maybe I will go to the Grand Prix next weekend.
You're welcome. I'll be here for another 35 minutes, probably. That's it. That's all the ideas you'll get from me. Looks like Dustin may be taking a mulligan here. Lloyd taking a look at his opening hand.
And that is definitely a hand.
I mean, there's 2 decays. There is a Tarmogoyf. Looks like it's a 1-land hand. I
Is
think there are a
he
couple
keeping?
copies of Deathray Shaman. I think the thing, if you're Lloyd in this matchup, the one card you want to see in your opening hand is Ancestral Visions. You snap keep if it's Visions. I don't want to say I would mulligan aggressively for Visions, but it is that good in the matchup, given that you guys are just going to exchange resources on the opening turns of the game, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Yeah, it just seems like it's the best card in the matchup on Lloyd's side. And Dustin does not want to see it on his.
Yeah, Lloyd's hand looks like a 1-lander, but he does have a Thoughtseize. Is he? Yeah, I guess he's keeping. Yep. Dustin presents. And, yeah, this could... And again, maybe Lloyd's thinking, okay, my opponent's going to 6 and I have Thoughtseize, so I can really, put the screws to him here. He has a lot of removal. And, wow, Dustin... Looks like he has, I can see at least 1 land and a lot of Tarmogoyfs. Oh yeah, just a 1-land hand. I don't think he can keep this hand either.
There's a Death right there, and it's a fetch land.
Yeah, Death right, fetch land. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, if there is a Death right there, yeah, there is a Death right. So he's gonna keep sacrifice Bloodstained Mire. Let's see what he gets. He's gonna get a, I guess Bayou's pretty good. In case if he has a Disfigure, you can at least get it. Yeah, make sure you have a green source. Yeah, so he's gonna go for a Bayou. Play a Deathrite Shaman. He has Tarmogoyf in his hand. I believe he has double Tarmogoyf. So he also has a Liliana in the Veil. So if he draws a land here, it could be pretty impressive. Because Lloyd, I don't believe Lloyd has a Disfigure.
He just drew a Tarmogoyf. There's a Delta. Let's see what land Lloyd wants to search up. I assume that this will be a Deathrite Shaman from him.
It could also be a Thoughtseize. Yeah, Deathrite Shaman, obviously the ideal card. Yeah, Dustin, this is if Dustin's able to draw a land, it's going to be a pretty good mulligan here. Just because of the sheer volume of powerful spells that he has in his hand.
And if he's able to play turn 2 Liliana, they're going to do that mulligan real quick. Gonna get basic Swamp.
So playing around a Wasteland a little bit.
All right.
And this makes me think he definitely only has 1 land in his hand.
Yeah, for sure. If he thought that long about it, I think. Also
Yeah.
searching for a basic instead of a non-basic.
Yes, they're searching for a basic because he basically knows if I lose my land and I have no other in my hand, I can't win. So I gotta sacrifice color for consistency here.
Bloodbraid Elf, Liliana, 2 copies of Tarmogoyf is what Lloyd is writing down. He gets to pick one of these cards, put it in the graveyard. We'll see which one he wants to go get. You see the Deathrite Shaman over there in his hand again. He elected to go with Casting Thoughtseize his turn instead of Deathrite Shaman. It's an interesting play, mostly because, Deathrite Shaman, he needs mana. However, he is playing against a deck that has Lightning Bolt, Abrupt Decay, Punishing Fire. So how likely is it that his Deathrite Shaman is going to live?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it's very likely.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive keep for Lloyd, I think. Especially being on the draw.
I'm a little surprised that he did keep this hand. Like, being on the draw, and it's not like he mulliganed once. He just decided to keep that 7. I think it is a touch aggro.
And Dustin drew a land, so he has the option to get that Liliana into play if he wants to.
Kind of like just playing a Tarmogoyf here.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you don't know that Lloyd doesn't have another land.
Of course.
But yeah, given that you don't want to discard a card, how powerful your cards are, I agree with this play. I kind of like getting Tarmogoyf out there, especially because if you draw another land, you can go Bloodbraid and really press your advantage.
Yep. There's another Thoughtseize. And it looks like he's looking to cast a second Thoughtseize instead of Deathrite Shaman. Wow, all right. Well, he knows the hand, obviously. So he gets to choose between the Bloodbraid Elf and the Liliana. There goes Liliana. So if Dustin draws another land here, this game could actually just end immediately.
Yeah, land, Bloodbraid into Liliana.
Tarmogoyf just became a 4/5. What's this card? It doesn't look like it's saying. It looks like it's a Deathrite Shaman, I think.
All right, so let's see here. Yeah, Lloyd, this aggressive keep, not really paying off for him here. Just has a swamp in play. Isn't able to find the second land. And even if he does, he basically just has Tarmogoyf that he can deploy, which obviously is good, but he's already at 10 here. And now he's facing double Deathrite Shaman on top of Tarmogoyf. And there's an Ancestral Visions, almost comical how bad it is right now.
There is old Deathrite. Pass the turn back. Gonna remove a Thoughtseize. Kurth is gonna go down. Kurth, I don't even know he's gonna get to even play this game.
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf's hacking for 4. Deathrite Shaman activations. This game might be over before he even gets to even do anything.
Yeah, I think this game might actually just be over. Bloodbraid Elf's coming down too now this turn. Actually, are there enough lands?
One
I don't
land,
think there's enough
just
lands.
one Delta. 2, 3.
No, he has one in his
Yeah,
hand.
all right. Oh, right, he used that. He didn't have to ever use that. That's right. Here comes
So it looks like
Bloodbraid.
there's a Surgical Extraction in his graveyard, in his hand. So
Yeah.
it looks like he boarded in the Surgical Extraction. But he does reveal a Tarmogoyf with the Bloodbraid Elf, so now he's going to swing over for 7, I believe. Yeah, Lloyd really has no outs at this point.
No.
Oh, no, Tarmogoyf's a 3, so 6 only. Because he removed the lands.
Yeah, still dead. Yeah, disfigure. Yeah, that's it. Pick up the 2 permanents, move on. Dustin Shiles is going to win game number 2 over Lloyd Kurth, punishing Jun and Charlotte Bug. Going to move on to a 3rd and final game. Gotta say, I don't like Lloyd's keep there. I really don't.
Yeah, it's really aggressive, particularly being on the draw against a deck like Punishing Jund. I think it's just a little too risky there.
You can just do better.
Yeah.
I think. I feel like,
Especially if your opponent's mulliganing to 6.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you're presented with that information beforehand because he has the mulligan before you. I think it enables you to, mulligan much easier. Also, I think that you can keep that hand if you have your most important card in your hand, which is Ancestral Visions in the matchup. But even then, it's a little sketchy.
yeah, I think people make the mistake when your opponent mulligans thinking, okay, well, I can be a little bit more aggressive with my keeps now because he's going to be at a disadvantage, which just isn't the case. I mean, if you don't have a good enough hand, you should mulligan. Whether or not your opponent mulligans shouldn't really factor in that much to your decision. Sometimes it does, but for the most part, a hand like that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to mulligan that. Obviously, having a Deathrite Shaman and a Thoughtseize is good, but you have to think about what you're playing against. If your opponent goes Thoughtseize or kill your Deathrite Shaman, you're basically in top deck mode from turn 2. Is that what you want to do? Like, think about that. Do you want to be in top deck mode starting on turn 2?
No.
That's just when you don't have to be. When you can mulligan at least once. You know what I mean? It's not like you're mulligan. It's not like that was a 6-card hand or a 5-card hand, and you're thinking about going down to 6 or 4. This is a 7-card hand. And, 5 lands and Ancestral Visions is probably better than that 7-card hand.
A wise man once told me, his name is Jerry Thompson, by the way. He's taught me a lot over the course of my career playing Magic. Probably the best lesson he ever taught me was mulliganing is not a punishment. Mulliganing is a choice. It's not a bad thing. It's an option you have available to you. A lot of people look at mulliganing as negative, and then there's some matchups, and a lot of matchups, truthfully, where it's a positive.
Yeah, I like that. Mulliganing is not a negative, it's a choice. I like that. A wise man, that Jerry Thompson.
You get to mulligan. What if in Magic you had to keep your 7 cards?
Ugh.
Can you imagine that? You have no
It's
choice.
such a worse
you have
game.
to keep. You have 7 lands, too bad.
Worst game imaginable, probably.
There should be one tournament like that where you're not allowed to mulligan, just so people can see that.
So Gerard Fabiano wins. Just give him the trophy.
Yeah. I think people would actually appreciate the option to mulligan more if there's just you play in one tournament, you're just not allowed to.
Yeah, they stop complaining about, oh, I mulliganed to 5. Oh, really? How is your 7-card no land hand?
Yeah. Well, I have no choice. I'll keep. Here's what Thoughtseize. Lloyd has no blue mana in his hand because he does have an Ancestral Visions, but he wasn't able to suspend it on turn 1. So you're going to look at a hand here of Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, Surgical Extraction, Liliana of the Veil, and then there's a Wasteland, a Badlands, and a Bayou.
Yeah, I don't love Surgical Extraction in this matchup. I'm not sure why he brought it in. So that's basically, I almost consider that a mulligan. If I'm Lloyd, I probably just take the, I think I actually just take the, I don't know, the Tarmogoyf maybe? You have an Abrupt Decay.
I think it's Tarmogoyf for Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the contents of his hand, of course, the texture of and how much removal he does have. But I think it's one of those 2 creatures.
Liliana Veil obviously can be problematic as well. But yeah, he's going to take Tarmogoyf. His hand is Abrupt Decay, lands, along with that Ancestral Visions, which he chose not to suspend on turn 1, rather lead with Thoughtseize, and I like that.
I wasn't sure if he had blue mana or not. I see the Verdant Catacombs now, so that's actually a choice.
Dustin may be thinking about going after those Thoughtseizes with the Surgical Extraction. Wow, so good turn here for Lloyd, potentially. We could see him play a Deathrite and suspend
Visions.
Visions,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty good.
That's a really, really good turn.
Let's see here. Yep, he's going to go for Tropical Island, so now he has access to all the colors he needs. And now Surgical Extraction, Ancestral Visions, the card that was so integral in him winning the first game, will make an appearance here in Game 3.
It's too important. It's too important in the matchup.
Yeah, plus you have plenty of time. Like there's some matchups where you just don't have the time to suspend Visions. This is not one of those matchups.
They don't kill you quick, in most instances.
Yeah.
You know, the last game, Dustin won quickly because Lloyd didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but overall, they don't kill you very quickly. They want to grind you down, destroy your resources, and then kind of win at their leisure, which Jun does a really nice job of, honestly.
Yeah, Dustin definitely would like to draw that one of Pyroblast that he has in his sideboard to kind of stop that Visions. Let's see what his options are. He has Dark Confidant.
Wasteland, too.
Yeah, Wasteland. Wasteland not ideal here because he's facing an active Deathrite Shaman, so he's actually just going to be setting himself back a little bit, but looks like he is going to go after that Tropical Island.
It's pretty bold.
Maybe he'll cast Surgical targeting the Tropical Island, but he does know the deck lists.
And he's going reaching. It looks like he kind of wants to do that, but he's just going to pass the turn back. Vision's going to go down to 3. The reason I don't like that play is because
Deathrite.
1 is Deathrite, and he's going to go surgically now. But 2 is you're just playing, like, once Vision's on suspend, you can't play a longer game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you actually, when Vision goes off, you want to be a parity or ahead. Lloyd's going to remove the Tropical Island now.
Yeah, so doesn't really do anything this turn.
That's why I don't like the Wasteland that turn, is because basically what you're saying is, let's go longer. But
Yeah.
I don't want to go longer against the suspended Visions.
I think you just cast Dark Confidant. Does draw another Wasteland. Now looks like we're going to see Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now Lloyd can actually cast Abrupt Decay at the end of his turn, so he's not slowing things down at all.
See if Lloyd wants to cast it now. He also has the option of, untapping, drawing, playing Liliana the Veil, taking it down.
Oh
passing the
yeah,
turn back.
I like that. I like that more actually. Hold on to that abrupt decay in case you need to kill Tarmogoyf later on. Whereas Liliana could be a little more hard to cast sometimes. So Liliana, the turn you can cast it, let's just get it out there. I think he also might have the option of casting Abrupt Decay and Tarmogoyf if he has a third land. That might also be a better option for him. Not sure exactly what's in his hand though. Nope, he's just going to lead with Liliana. So pretty good turn here. He's going to be able to Liliana play. He's going to be able to down ticket to deal with a Dark Confidant. And I'm not sure if Dustin has an answer.
Tough guy Deathray. Can he get in for one? Shiles is going to go down to 17. Lightning Bolt's the draw. And that draw's fine. But then now you're in a position of, all right, what do you Lightning Bolt? Do you want to take care of Liliana? You want to take care of Deathray Shaman? Both are problematic at this point. Something that Dustin probably knows because he has both cards in his deck.
He can go Liliana and down ticket and deal with the Deathray Shaman that way. And then next turn he can Lightning Bolt the Liliana because Liliana will only uptick to 2. So
he could have dueling lilies.
I think that's probably his best play this turn. But he's going to go to the Tropical Island and Lightning Bolt Liliana.
Okay. And pass the turn back over to Kurth. Draws another copy of Ancestral Visions. Gotta imagine he's suspending that. He can suspend it. He can just suspend and play Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, suspend, play Tarmogoyf. Now Dustin's in a tough spot because if he tries to play Liliana next turn, if he just down takes it, then Deathray Shaman goes, but Tarmogoyf eats it up right away.
Yeah. And pass the turn back. Kurth is in a real comfy chair right now.
Yeah, he's going to be drawing 3 cards next turn. 4 turns later, he'll draw another 3 cards. Dustin has basically nothing in play other than 2 lands. Not that much action in his hand other than a land and a Liliana. But Liliana can't really come into play just yet. Otherwise, it'll just die.
Yeah. Eat Deathray Shaman and then die to Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's sitting here at a 5-6. Thing is absolutely gigantic.
Yeah, Tarmogoyf's just a monster in this matchup. Yeah. It's always so big.
Another thing, too, is Dustin is just drawing a second copy of Surgical Extraction. I think he's going to play this game and probably review this in his mind. He's going to see how poor that card is in this matchup because the first one did nothing, and this second one is going to do
basically does nothing.
Basically nothing. And when you draw your sideboard cards, it's so important for your sideboard cards to have a huge impact on the game, and they're having virtually no impact. Liliana's going to come down. He's going to take care of Deathray Shaman, sure. That's basically like Heroes downfalling a Deathray Shaman, and then you're playing a bit of a fog because Tarmogoyf is going to get the opportunity to kill that thing. To be fair, Tarmogoyf could ignore that. And Liliana can only tick up. It can't kill Tarmogoyf. And he's drawing 3 cards, making a 4th one on the draw step. He might just be fine with just discarding a card because Dustin will have to discard as well. It's symmetrical.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't know. I think if you can just get rid of the Tarmogoyf, if you can get rid of it, just get rid of it. You're not killing him. It's not like it's changing your clock really that much.
Yeah, and he's just going upstairs. I actually like this a lot because Lloyd has plenty of cards to discard. Dustin's the one that has 2 cards in his hand. So if he wants to use his Liliana, okay, you have to tick that up. That means you have to discard a card, and I have more cards. I have a Visions on suspend, so by all means, if you want to play the discarding game, I am okay with that.
So let's see here. Wasteland targeting Bayou, Abrupt Decay, targeting Liliana.
So away that goes. See the hand there, Surgical Extraction. Another card over there for Dustin, but nothing to stop this very large Tarmogoyf there. No, take that back. That's an Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I wanted to just kill the Liliana with the Tarmogoyf that turn.
Yeah.
Because if this matchup's all about being grindy, then why change your strategy? Like, that's the whole point. You're grinding them out.
One thing here is Lloyd did resolve Visions last time. You notice he didn't play land.
Yeah,
now here's
doesn't
Surgical
have
Extraction.
one.
I think Surgical Extraction is going to go after a land.
Or maybe Tarmogoyf.
That's possible too. Here's the grip. All right, Ghosts are gone.
So not bad. It's Now the only real big beater in his deck is Shardless Agent. So this is going to be a tough spot for Lloyd because basically, if Dustin draws a Punishing Fire, that could potentially just buy him all the time in the world. There's really nothing that Lloyd has that doesn't die to Punishing Fire. And Lloyd just stuck at one land here, so we'll see how this game plays out. Again, Visions will unsuspend a couple turns from here, but if Dustin just goes land Bloodbraid Elf, he's right back in this. He's going to need something fast.
Visions is a ticking time bomb. That's a Badlands. Visions down to 1. Draw a card. That's a Misty. Kurth is going to sacrifice that very quickly.
Yeah, so good thing. Yeah, he doesn't really need that much green anymore. He has a Shardless Agent in his hand, I think.
And a Baleful Strix.
And I think he only has one Tropical Island left in his deck, so maybe that's why he didn't search for it. In case he got a Wasteland, he wouldn't be able to cast Shardless Agent.
Yeah. There's a Death right off the top. Dustin needs to top deck a little bit better than that. There's the Visions now, so Lloyd's going to draw a whole bunch of cards. Abrupt Decay is 1.
And there's the third land.
Yep.
So that means the Liliana can come down now.
And there's your green land. That was his draw set for the turn. That's a Misty. So that'll help him find the green land. Shardless Agent is an option now. You mentioned Liliana. That can come down as well. Looks like he may lead with Underground Sea. May start with Misty. A little unsure at this point. Will go with Misty. Kurth will go down to 15. See if it'll be Tropper or Bayou.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine it's Bayou and Shardless Agent.
Okay.
Because I don't think you expose your green mana unless you're going to cast a green spell.
He's going to go with Liliana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm a little bit surprised by that. I understand what you mean. Because if that green mana gets wastelanded, it stinks.
I don't think he has another green source, so you actually just can't cast a Shardless in your hand. But either way, it looks like he's okay. And he just drew a Verdant Catacombs anyway.
So he's all right. Going to start by taking up here. We get that card out of the hand.
Yeah, make sure it's not a Punishing Fire or Lightning Bolt or something like that.
That's a Forest. Again, discard Visions. There's Shardless, so let's take a look at the Cascade here. Decay is a whiff. Not casting that, thank you much. In for 1 we go. Dustin going to go down to 10. There's an Underground Sea and kick it back. Now, we saw Dustin in Game 3 of his last match against Esper Deathblade. Put him in a position that basically he's in now, which is basically what you draw is obsolete.
Well, no, Bloodbraid Elf into Punishing Fire. It's still pretty good.
All right.
You kill Shardless Agent, and then you attack the Liliana. And now you have a Punishing Fire in your graveyard with a Grove in play. So, but it doesn't look like he drew that.
And you go the Maelstrom Pulse and the Shardless Agent. Get that thing out of here. So away goes the 2/2. That one didn't do very much. Decay was the card it cascaded into. Couldn't cast that. There's a Wasteland. That's pretty good. That'll take care of the Grove.
Yeah, get rid of that Grove. Keep him off of 4 mana, which is important. Because again, top deck Bloodbrave can always be an issue for you.
0 for 2 on Cascades. That was a Thoughtseize. Yeah, there goes the Grove, as you mentioned. Cutting off not only Punishing Fire, but Bloodbraid Elf now as well. So slowly but surely, Lloyd Kurth is grinding down Dustin Shiles.
I'm really surprised he didn't uptick, considering he has a Verdant Catacomb. Or did he uptick?
He did not use Liliana last turn.
Yeah, I don't think he used Liliana last turn.
Maybe just don't want to discard any of those cards. There's a Brainstorm. Looks like he's going to fire this off.
Disfigure, Deathrite, and another Wasteland. So I think he can actually keep Dustin off of green mana now. I believe there's a Bayou and 2 Badlands in play. And Dustin is at 9 currently.
Yep. That's a Punishing Fire. Take care of that Shardless Agent. Thing for you for Lloyd. No Grove in play. There's another agent. Go by the Deluge. There's a Deathrite. He knew that was there.
Wasteland your Bayou.
He got the green. Yep, that's what he's going to do. Now Tower Voice are cold, but Liliana's out there and still not using Liliana on purpose. Dustin draws a card.
I can't imagine that Verdant Catacomb in his hand is that much more valuable than an uptick, just to get it up to, because now you lose your Liliana. But again, doesn't matter. He's got million ways to kill it.
And it's going to go disfigure, get it off the table. Fire in here for 3. Shiles is going to go down to 5.
Deathright brings him down to 3, and he's got a creeping tar pit in play as well. So Dustin Shiles does not look like he's going to be able to come back from this one. And Lloyd Kurth.
He is your Legacy Open champion here in Baltimore. Back-to-back top 8s for him. Wasn't able to win earlier this morning, but he wins this evening. Congratulations to him with Shardless Bug.